Hi, my name is Sarah Burton. I'm the National Political Director for the Sierra Club. Thank you so much for inviting me to make remarks. I wish I could have joined you in person, especially today when it is very snowy and very cold where I live in Northern Virginia. I've been on the national political team here at Sierra Club for about 8 years, and in my role, I've had the privilege of working on both national elections and on state and local elections. And I also get to work with volunteers across the country, and I'm thrilled to be meeting you all virtually today. I'm going to talk today about what's ahead for Sierra Club under a second Trump administration and what the national political team is focused on over the next 4 years. I won't sugarcoat things. There will be some real losses on our issues coming. We know that our agenda is in danger because Trump has told us himself, from his drill baby drill comments to his promises to eliminate and slash offices and funding at the Department of Energy. He has been clear that he is siding with fossil fuel interests and with billionaires, and we saw it during his first term. But since we've seen it before, we do know how to fight back. We are prepared. Sierra Club spent the months leading up to the election, planning for every scenario, planning for a Trump loss, hoping for the best, but knowing that we needed to be ready. We know how to get through this, and we will not be idle. We know how to not just play defense, but also be on the offense and look for those places where we can advance our issues. And there is still plenty of opportunity to do that. During Trump's last term, Sierra Club was very active, and we did everything we could to impede his efforts to roll back environmental protections, and we're going to do that again. During that term, our legal team filed over 300 lawsuits to prevent, hamper, delay efforts to strip away bedrock environmental protections. Sierra Club also filed FOIA requests. Those led to multiple ethics violation investigations and ultimately helped in Scott Pruitt resigning. Our Beyond Coal campaign continued to retire coal plants at an even faster pace, actually, under Trump than under the Obama administration. So still plenty of room to do some work and have some impact. I know from talking to volunteers, many people are worried about the implications for the Inflation Reduction Act in particular. And the good news is that many of those funds are already spent, and there is no going back on that. That money is out the door. Many additional programs that are IRA funded are going to start this year in 2025. And most of those are really popular, and they come with a clear budget and a timeline that can't be erased. For example, clean buses, incredibly popular. Most Congress people know that people like funding in their cities, in their districts. They want to see more clean transportation. And our elected officials aren't going to want to explain to their constituents why they got rid of clean buses or why they got rid of more funding coming into their district. And Sierra Club is helping to drive that message. Another example is the 7 billion allocated for solar for all. States have already started implementing in 2024. More are going to follow this year. Ultimately, that's going to result in 900,000 new homes with distributed solar. We are going to be working with partners to ensure that consumers understand who delivered on those policies, which elected officials fought to bring funds into communities, and also who wants to take them away. We have an essential role to play in communicating about the Trump agenda and the impacts on people's communities and in helping to engage people to fight back. And there are a lot of electoral efforts on the horizon for this year and for next year. I'm going to talk about those in a moment. But before I do, I just want to mention a few recent victories that many, many people at Sierra Club worked hard to help achieve. And in these times, it's just really easy to get lost in anxiety and stress about what's to come. And it's really, really important to pause and celebrate the victories when they do come. So I just want to mention those. In the past few weeks, the Biden administration banned offshore drilling in 625 million acres of coastal waters. We signed the Explore Act into law, which is huge and will make it easier for veterans and youth to access nature. And in your state, created 2 new national monuments. So looking ahead to the next 4 years, looking ahead to elections, it's important to remember always that Trump's win was not a mandate. It was a massive blow to us. It was beyond depressing, but it was not decisive. He won with the smallest popular vote margin in decades. He did not have an increase in support. We have to look at what happened why Harris lost support. But we do not have to look at this as a mandate. And the narrow majority in the House also includes several Republicans in districts where they won by less than a half percentage point, which means there are going to be some GOP members who will defect on certain votes. And down ballot, if you look at the results across the country, there was significant ticket splitting across this year at the local level. What that shows us, people are voting for the people they see as delivering on the issues. People want change. They are not just voting by party. What this means for Sierra Club, our issues are winning issues. I know it can feel like that's not true, but look around. I don't have to tell you, in your state, the devastating, beyond devastating fires, the hurricanes, the floods, the superstorms across the country, people see the impact of climate change and they want to elect leaders that are going to do something about it. Leaders who are going to protect their health, their air, their water. Overall, economy is the number one issue. That is what voters are going to come out and vote on. Sierra Club is an essential messenger on that. We need to be talking to everyone about the clean energy economy and the impact of green new jobs, green new technology, and what that means for communities, in addition to what that does to help reach our clean energy goals. So we're going to be taking that message to Virginia and New Jersey this year. In those states, of course, there are crucial governor and state legislative races this year. And those elections are really important because they're a bellwether for the midterms in 2026. We can get a lot of lessons from that and do some analysis on how the electorate is feeling. We are also planning now for 2026 when 36 governor seats are up. We're partnering with chapters now on down ballot work, looking for those local races where a small monetary engagement has huge, huge impacts in a place where the margins of win are so small that we can be the difference, like a city council election, a school board election. State and local elections have always been important. They are still critically important, if not more so. This is where our issues are going to be propelled over the next 4 years. And since you are in California, that's a state, of course, with a lot of strong leaders, a lot of strong laws on the books. You might think, oh, there isn't as much for us to do here. Should we be looking to other states? And yes, potentially you might want to engage in other states, but there are also critical, critical ways to engage in elections where you live. For one thing, what happens in California sets the precedent for other states. In your district, in your community, look at who the decision makers are on our issues. Can good laws get better? What does the school board have say over? What does the city council have say over? The county commission? Make calls, follow up with your local electeds. That has huge, huge impacts. Even in California, where the districts are bigger than other places, the vote margins in these local elections are still really small, and we have the people that can have an impact in these races. Even better if you work with your chapter to help call other members and supporters and make sure that they're having their voices heard. We can reach a ton of voters that way and make sure people know who's standing up for clean energy and who isn't, and what's on the line in these local elections where people don't always know. These are the people also in these local elections who are eventually going to be running for higher office in the coming cycles. So educating now, advocating now pays huge dividends in relationship building and making sure that those people understand our issues. So a wonderful way to get involved, if you are interested, is to join your chapter political committee. This is the committee that evaluates candidates for Sierra Club endorsement, educates candidates about our position on issues, and importantly, helps to reach voters to make sure that the right people are elected. We also have a national political volunteer team called SCPT, the Sierra Club Political Team. There's a liaison for every chapter who is available to answer questions about strategy, electoral strategy, who should we endorse, how do we think about these things. Please reach out to us anytime. Have your political chair reach out. If you're interested in hearing more about that committee, just get in touch. You can always reach us at political.desk@sierraclub.org, and that goes to the national staff and our national committee. So before I say goodbye and let you get back to your meeting, I would just say, please stay engaged. Keep up the great work you're doing. Don't give up hope. We are truly, truly stronger together. There is a lot we can still do. Take care. Thank you again for having me.